Welcome to Spiritz Studio Town Hall. I am Bishan Kumar.
And I am Shalini Kumar.
As we all aware that life is not going to be the same again. The pandemic is going to change many things. That includes our food habits. This self-isolation has led people to turn towards homegrown, safer food with no minimum risk involved. This is going to be loudly reflecting on the food served at food and drink establishments. We need to examine how consumers are going to come back to your establishments. It all depends what kind of a food safety protocol, sanitization, hygiene is being maintained at the hotels. A lot has to be done to win consumers' confidence. Today, we are going to examine all these subjects with our eminent panel.
And of course, we'll have a very, very powerful panel with us. We have Deepak Rawat, who is Director Food and Beverages at Ritz, Carlton, Pune. Welcome, Deepak.
Thank you, ma'am.
And then we have Ankur Chawla, Partner Director of Beverages from Marriott, Aerocity, Delhi. And now he owns his consulting firm by the name Scope Beverages. And our next panelist is Pawan Bhatnagar, who is a senior hospitality professional with a 5-star chain. And we have Neeraj Tyagi with us. Neeraj Tyagi is Director Culinary at Pullman and Novotel, Aerocity, Delhi. So welcome Neeraj, Pawan, Ankur, Deepak. So let's start our discussion on food, its safety and revival of consumers' confidence.
So before we come back to food part, this is important to understand by Pawan and maybe Deepak Rawat, who handle the administrative part also. Pawan has handled all the security operations of chain hotels, star chain hotels. What are the standard protocol the establishments are going to adapt to? Because so much is to be done. A lot of SOPs to become in operations. Consumers are still very, fearful of stepping out of the homes and go to bars, restaurants, and hotels. What are you doing? What are the standard operating procedures? What are safety features you think hotel and restaurants, stand-alone restaurants should take so that people can believe that it's safe to go out and eat food? Pawan?
Thank you, Bishan, for inviting us on this wonderful portal of yours. I think, making SOPs, everyone is indulging in, because the new norm, but in my opinion, is going to be winning back the confidence of your clients, of your guests. Unless today, everyone in India, the situation has become, everyone is afraid of each other. People have lost trust, faith in each other. So therefore, how are you going to get them back inside the gates of your restaurant, inside the doors of your hotel, inside the, so that is going to be the main challenge for this. So therefore, there are few things or large number of things which the hotel chains and the restaurant chains have to go into. For example, how do you make me come to your hotel? Maybe you have to tell me, well, I am certified by so-and-so. So there are a lot of hotel chains who are going with major certification agencies, such as, like one of the chains has gone in with Bureau Veritas, someone has gone with Mayo Clinic, somebody, and saying, hey, we are fully safe, sanitized, come to us, your health is in good hands. The hotels would have to invest, the restaurants would have to invest heavily into the life safety environment, into the life safety equipment, which is all going to be capital intensive. Starting for a guest journey, coming from the gate, entering the hotel gate, you have to assure him that, the person who is checking, the person who is allowing him to come inside, not only him, the person after him is safe. So therefore, maybe you have to go in for, people are already going for the thermal scanners, they're going for the UV cameras, they're going for electrostatic diffusers. So anything and everything coming inside has to be clean and sanitized.
So expenditure is going to be increased.
I'm sorry?
Phenomenally. Expenditure on these things will increase the responsibility of the...
Absolutely. So therefore, you're going to spend a lot of money on this. But who is coming inside? The person who is coming inside is going to have less money to spend because his job has been lost, his salaries has been cut. So now the chefs have got a major thing to do. Whether what kind of a buffet to lay out, is it going to be spread out buffet like it used to be earlier, or is it going to be a curtained one? And what kind of service they're going to do? How much of that? Because to my understanding, what is going to happen in the restaurants is that now it's going to be more showing people that, well, hey, we are sanitized fully. So therefore, when a person comes in, maybe you will take some more time in cleaning the table. Tell us, sir, please wait. We are sanitizing the table for you. The waiter who would come in, maybe he would not come. He will not, he will have his gloves in his hand. He will have a proper apron. Maybe he will wearing a face shield so that the person. Chefs will not be walking with their spoons over here, because if I see a chef walking with a spoon over, I will say, hey man, there is something wrong here. I'm not taking food from this guy. So these are things to think. So safety standards, life safety standards, the produce which is coming inside the back door of your restaurant for thing, you will expect the vendor to be putting in more money, more efforts towards sanitization, maybe again UV sanitization, maybe other things. So more and more, so your establishment costs are going to increase on that. So how you are going to sync it with the cost of what you're offering to the guest who has got less money in his pocket. So yeah, these are some things I thought I'll bring out to you.
Neeraj, you have to say something on this?
I think Deepak should come in.
Okay, Deepak.
Deepak, since we are talking about these standard SOPs, you also new SOPs. So suppose, like Pawan said, okay, the guest has been thermal screened and table has been, sanitized. I've come in and sitting at the hotel. Now the service part, how the waiter, the bearer will come and serve, and the food is being made in the kitchen, how it's going to serve there. Everything is going to change. There is no one-to-one connect with the consumers, which needs to happen, which was kind of a good thing, because we are social people. We wanted to have a human interaction with the people who serve with us, or the barman who makes my drink. This is not there anymore. So all this paradigm shift is going to change the entire,
Well, sir, there's definitely going to be a change, but then somehow we as food and beverage and hospitality professionals, we need to keep in mind, like it's a new normal, and the new normal thing is depends on the contactless and plus contamination. So there are two things which we need to focus upon over here. So whether somebody is coming inside your hotel, if you're scanning your person, you would not be able to know that person is carrying any virus or not. But it's more about keeping yourself safe and keeping the other person also safe. So we are definitely working on it. Like for example, so there is going to be personalization, but not a human touch over there. For example, we are going to wear face shield, face mask, gloves. Also, there are new standards where you have to change your gloves after every 30 minutes. You need to, change your mask after every 3 hours. So these are protocols that we are going to follow now. And also, most importantly, it is not only about making your SOPs, it's also about implementing it properly. And so that, as Colonel Bhatnagar, he also mentioned that, how you need to gain the trust of your consumers, how a guest will come, why he will come to your hotel. So it's more about not only displaying it, but also, showcasing it with the practices. So now they are going to be the new best practices in the industry, which they will definitely see. And it's more about word of mouth. So once you will gain trust of your consumer, they're going to definitely come back. And as he also mentioned about the consumer pocket. So anyhow, our market, our India is divided into A, B, C category. So there are people who already have deep pockets. The hotels are also divided into segments, like business hotel, luxury hotels. So luxury hotels, people they go definitely for luxury. So those are things we need to maintain. And anyhow, you need to keep every consumer in in your view, so that there is everything for everybody. But here the major focus this time will be the new normal. The major focus will be to keep yourself safe and to keep other person also safe. This is what I think.
Deepak, as you said, and also Pawan told us that it's a time when we won't have big parties, because you people have big banquets, like Pullman has, Leela has, everybody has big banquets, and they need a certain amount of revenue to run that. So now, as you are saying, that people who have deep pockets keep coming to the hotel when the trust is restored, right? So, how would you do the balance? How would you run the properly? Because it's difficult to run only those few people deep pockets.
Right. Ma'am, there are two parts to it. One, somebody, if you see, if a guest, he was mentally prepared 6 months back, to spend, suppose 50 lakh rupees per wedding, right? Now, not 50, but he will at least spend 10 to 15 lakh rupees on 50%. But also, for us, we need to follow the government guidelines. Accordingly, we need to make sure that how we are going to serve, because now, are we actually going to serve appetizers on pass around? This is one question, or we are going to move to live stations?
So one more thing. You will have only limited number of guests. People used to spend 30 or 50 lakhs when they were inviting like 200 people or 230 people. Now it's like new guidelines are 20 people or 50 people, not more than that, at least for 6 months.
True. Ma'am, see, for hotels, something like, we always calculate our food cost, our manpower cost, how many people we are going to employ over there. So there is definitely a balance to it, okay? Because the more number of, yes, of course, you earn more money when there are large number of gatherings, but then also there are major costs involved, like manpower, when you hire people from outside, when your employees are also working over there continuously. Over here, the opportunity is the quality which you're going to give now, okay? The opportunity is small number of people, and then, but the major focus again over here is contactless, right? So it's a very debatable topic, because there are many factors which affects the large number of gatherings, small number of gatherings, earning more money, earning small money, but then definitely there's going to be a balance out of it. Of course, people will not spend 5,000 rupees a plate or 2,000 rupees a plate, but somewhere again, what I feel, there is opportunity where you sell something to a guest, you show them that this is what we are going to serve you, and it will again depend from hotel to hotel. So any business class hotel in B city is different, or or a luxury hotel in a B city is different.
Yep.
But if I talk about Pune and Delhi market, it is also totally different now.
Okay, now time has come to talk about food. I miss enjoying the fabulous culinary magic created by our great chef, Neeraj Tyagi. I miss it totally. And I have not tasted the magic created by Ankur and his team so far, but I can vouch for what Neeraj and his team does at the Pullman. So, Neeraj, things are changing. People, as I said in my opening remark, people now are very petrified about what to eat, what not to eat. Because even the vegetables we bring in or fruits we bring in, we wash, clean, kept it safe for some time. At home also. So we don't know who is there in the kitchen, what kind of protocol you are being observed. So do you believe that the kind of menu you had pre-COVID pandemic is going to sustain for you, or going to be see some drastic changes in the menu? Are you working towards it? What changes we're going to see?
So, good afternoon, everyone. I think before I answer to your question, I would like to discuss about banqueting. I mean, I've been hearing what ma'am said, and then Deepak, I think he has a valid point. But also, I think there's an opportunity. There's a big opportunity for a city center hotel for weddings. You know, I doubt whether these destination weddings are going to be in they're going to exist because people will not travel. So, and we're going to have a smaller number for banquets. And then you rightly said that we have a huge banquet halls, and to operate this banquet halls, the HLP cost and the is quite high. So, but ma'am, I think smaller group, yes. But I think we're going to create the bespoke experience, and this is what we are working at Pullman. There's not going to be big buffets of 1,000 dishes lying from one end to other, but I think it's going to be very experiential. You know, smaller group, high-end niche menus, smaller menus, and the way we're going to serve, like maybe a flying buffet or with a proper social distancing in place. So I think that's going to be there. And this is the best part of our job. I think we have to keep thinking and keep innovating new ideas, new things. With this global pandemic, I think it gives an opportunity to reinvent the things, and then to come up with the new innovative ideas. So banquet are going to be in place. Wedding going to happen in hotel. I doubt people will come and gather in standalone farmhouses where there's a big question mark about the hygiene and other stuff. I think people will prefer a 5-star hotel where the hygiene levels are much higher. And this is how we're going to talk about the revenue per square feet. I think margin will go a little low, but again, I see a huge opportunity there for a hotel like us when it comes to banqueting. Coming back to your point, sir, I think people after this, the whole menu, the ways to put menu is going to change. People guests will love to know where the produce are coming from. Earlier, they were not bothered. They just want to see what dishes are there on the menu. But now, after this, they would also like to know where the produce are coming from. Are they reliable sources or they are not a reliable sources? The whole SOPs, the vegetables, all those goods which is hitting the receiving dock is completely going to change, with sanitized, defogging, all those things are happening, I think, in each brand. But yes, the menus will be smaller. I completely agree now. People will love to see value for money, small plates, not a big portion. Seasonal produce is going to be the key because I will not be using a lot of frozen ingredients in the menu. I'll rather focus on local, sustainable, seasonal produce. We at Pullman, we have our small garden where we do vegetables, but what we're doing, we have a lot of space where we are developing the vertical garden, and we're going to at least put an effort to grow something seasonal where we're going to take our guests for a detour and then we show them what are we doing in terms of farm to table or what are we growing in house. But again, you rightly said the menus are going to completely change. I'm not going to have a big menus. I'll rather have a smaller menus based on seasonal produce, small plates, lighter dishes and something to do talk about the immunity. You know, I mean, there are a lot of things which by putting or including in the menus which can help in good immunity. So I think guests, customers, they're going to be really focused on how we are operating in terms of social distancing, how the server is approaching with a minimum distance, what service gear or service kit is bringing, mask, PPE kit, all those things are going to be in place. But yes, the whole food offering is going to change, sir. I think this is what all the chefs are doing, and yeah.
So according to your news, right now you said that you will take the consumer, your customer to tour the entire hotel, either this way we are producing the vegetables, etc., pharmacopoeial. So will it be the new law to invest in consumers' confidence, to take the consumer around your hotel and show it to him the kind of measures, safety measures you are taking, and then entertain him?
Yeah, I think it's a good practice, ma'am. It's always when the weather, during the fair weather, I think we would love to do toast a table in our garden where we can serve the breakfast. This is what I'm intending to do in time to come. But again, I think it's build a confidence when customer sees that we are giving such a importance to seasonal produce. We are growing our own vegetables with no fertilizers, and it's safe. I think it build a confidence level the customer. But not every hotel has the luxury of space where they can grow these vegetables. But yes, vertical garden is one option. But again, that's not suffice the entire demand. So for that, I think it's very important we go back and check and do an audit at the supplier end. It's also very important to see how the suppliers are taking all the precautionary measures. So for that, we have a team who goes there and do an audit and then see how if the source is reliable or not. Also, what are we doing? We're tying up with a lot of these local farmers based on Uttarakhand and other places. From there, we can try to get some produce from there. So I think featuring all those things in the menu will excite and will give that confidence to our customer. They would definitely love to know where the chicken coming from. Is a free range cage chicken or where the poultry is from. So I think it's good to know that. It's good to have those elements in the menu.
So I'll go to Ankur Chawla now.
May I
Yeah.
just interrupt
Yeah,
you?
Pawan.
So, Chef, in my opinion, I think there would also be a change in the way you organize your kitchen. The way the social distancing in the kitchen is a place where there's a teaming, everybody's crisscrossing, shoulders rubbing, all that happening. Now, with the social distancing norm in place, you would have to reorganize the kitchen probably so that, things are more, apart. Secondly, your respiratory hygiene of the staff, that is going to be a major kind of thing that needs to be looked into. The kind of things that they wear on your hands, the watches and the rings and, those kind of things. So probably all that also.
So, that's the reason I said, this is again one of the reasons why we don't want to have big menus. Because if you have big menus, you need more people in the kitchen. So that's the reason the menus are going to be small. No rings, no watches is always a part of our food safety management system. So that's going to be there. But you rightly said, there'll be mandatory to have all the food handlers to go monthly test. There'll be a mandate. When the moment they'll come, they have to take a shower. We're going to have a system in place where there'll be a alarm which will go to buzz after 30 minutes to wash their hand and listen. So there are a lot of it's endless SOPs, and the list which is going to be in place is huge, and it depends brand to brand. But again, I think the hygiene in safety security is going to be the most. It's the priority for any brand. Be it colleague or be it customer. I think everybody's focusing on that level. But you're right. You rightly said. That's the reason I said the menus are going to be very smaller. Small menu, less people in the kitchen, proper distancing. All those things are going to be in place.
Listening to all these, seasoned professionals, one thing comes to my mind. I feel that the beauty aspect of the hotel has gone out of the window. They're not going to be good-looking hostesses to greet you there. There will be people with the PPE kits.
Just doing namaste.
So it will be kind of sci-fi movie there, getting into hotel.
I always like to hire people. That's gone.
So, from myself to Modi, the huggers are gone. They are passing now. So coming back to Ankur Chawla now.
Sure.
Ankur, as Deepak, Chef Neeraj just said, menu are going to be drastically changed. You cater to a diverse clientele, from rich, influential to commoners like us. and you customize menu accordingly. So have you and team given a thought to it? Post-COVID scenario, what kind of menu offerings you're going to actually exhibit, which could number one, could be appetizing to them. Number two, have a confidence that, look, this is safer to eat such food stuff.
So I think a lot of valid points have already been said, and I think I was also making a few notes that what all to be done, listening to these leaders in the industry.
That's the idea of a Spiritz town hall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But see, one thing we need to all understand that it's the consumer behavior which is also going to change, and it's more of an Apple philosophy. Like I always say that Apple products were never asked for or were never needed. It was always given to the world, and world said, yes, this is what I wanted. So I think that's something that I really see happening after COVID era as well, wherein there'll be a lot of new SOPs, a lot of new things which will be brought in. The consumer might not be even expecting a few things, but they'll be like a little overwhelmed with a lot of things, and then there'll be a thinking of or a value of acceptance, wherein they'll be like, oh wow, yes, this is exactly what we wanted. So I think that's going to happen a lot. I think less is more as a philosophy was already started, but I think it's going to continue. It's going to bring out a lot more, and it's going to become as big as possible, wherein you're trying to use less of the resources and try to bring out as much or as big an impact. In fact, off lately, I had a small chat with somebody who wanted to do a catering. So he was saying that instead of simple things, instead of using big giant truffles, he has a small little farm where he's growing up his own dingri mushrooms. So he said, why not just pluck it from there and use it? So local, not only use of local, but how exotic can you make look a local ingredient is what is going to happen. That even when you use these local ingredients or sustainable way, or the 1 kilometer, 0 kilometer sort of radius cooking that we all have been talking about, it was there. It's not that it wasn't there. Like, with all due respect, I think Pullman has been doing farm to table sort of concept for quite some time. Yes. But now I think is the time when it'll suddenly boom up. Also, one really important thing that I feel is going to happen, which I think Bishanji, leaning from your point of good looking, I think there are two things to it. Remember 26/11, right after 26/11, I always give this example post-COVID as well. The consumer behavior changed. Before that, when you used to enter a building or a hotel in your car, I mean, it was checked, but it was not as checked as thoroughly as it is now. And now you got used to it. Now, if you enter a building and somebody is not opening your bonnet or boot and not checking it properly, you feel insecure, even if the guy is not doing anything. Colonel Bhatnagar would agree to me, and I think he'll get angry if somebody is not doing that. So I think showcasing or kind of showcasing yourself as a hotel, as a entity, as a food and beverage outlet to the world, and saying that yes, you are a safe place to enter is more important than anything else right now. Food, menu, beverage, everything is aside. First and foremost, are you safe? So that safety angle has sort of taken the priority. Ages back, I was working with the Taj Mahal Bombay, and I still remember having in the big events or the big banquets, there was a cobbler and there was a barber who was to sit in the back area of the banquet halls, wherein you have a lot of I would come and just groom everybody. The cobbler would polish shoes for everyone. I think that era might come back, wherein I will be comfortable in a place where I see people groomed really well. Where I don't care if they're daily wager, I don't care, even if they're the hotel top bosses, but they have to be groomed well. They have to be looking very, very good. So I think that that aspect of people looking very good, very neat, very hygienically, responsible are the new factors that we are definitely looking at. But I think rest of a lot of other points have already been said about SOPs, about in fact nutrition. I think people, what's going in the tummy is become much more important now, which was not as important earlier. Be it in your banquet halls, be it in restaurants, or be it even the FMCG products. Like if you go to the shelves of the big FMCG lanes and the retail giants, people want to pick up the box and they want to, you know, look at the backside of the label and they want to see what is, you know, how much of the sugar level is there and what is the nutritional content and stuff like that. So I think that all is going to come into the play.
Okay. Ankur, as you said that after every big, incident when happens, as 26/11 happened, something new comes up.
Correct.
And people gradually adopt that.
Correct.
So are this thing going to happen this time also? People will gradually take it as like normal. So
Yeah, it will. 100%. I think.
Like wearing masks or
so right now,
gloves, etc.
Right now, I think what will happen once we open up is that, let's say we start doing 200 things in a row, but eventually the relevant things will stay, which as it is was supposed to be there. Like, you know, we are not talking anything new. The hygiene was supposed to be there, and it was there to a great extent. That was supposed to be always there. The sanitization of vegetables. So it's all there. It all has been there for a lot of bigger institutions and bigger hotels, but I think now it's going to trickle down to the masses as well. You know, with all due respect, during my management trainee days of Taj Mahal Bombay also, which was back in about a decade ago, even then you used to learn what are the chemicals or what are the chlorinated or what is the ppm of chlorine to be added once you sanitize the vegetables when they enter. It's just that now it is going to happen to masses. So I think a lot of it is going to happen, but only the relevant will stay back, and the hypothetical ones will eventually go off, which is, you know, short-term sort of business for a lot of players as well. So behavioral changes is what I see.
Yeah, I think Ankur, as
sir.
you said that this hygiene sanitization part was already there, but
Yes,
I have
sir.
a slightly different view on that.
Please.
I think Pawan and Deepak would vouch for me, because if you see the bartenders training program,
yes,
we hardly have any hygiene and sanitization part. In Singapore, it's 4 weeks or 6 weeks training before you become a bartender.
Absolutely.
Only for sanitization hygiene thing. Similarly for servers. We don't have that kind of protocol here in India. But I think that will now kick in.
Absolutely.
Not a thing.
See,
Pawan will also think where whatever hotel he goes into or whatever consultancy he does with the hotel will also ensure that the server, the bartender, the mixologists have a proper intensive training on food, on the hygiene and sanitization part. Deepak or Pawan?
Please.
I totally agree with what you have just said. This is the part. See, so that time the glamour of the bartending takes over the hygiene part. So, you know, but now I'm not going to get impressed by the way he's doing it. I'm going to get impressed. Has he blow dried his glass or has he wiped it with a cloth? The moment he does that, I'll be looking away. So the standards of sanitization, the psychological training of the staff as to why they need to do what they're supposed to do, that would be very, very important. That will play a major role in this now.
Deepak?
So one more thing, you know, like as I mentioned earlier, it's not only about things which we have mentioned on our, on our SOPs, on our books. It's also about implementation. And now, because of this COVID-19, everybody is educated. Okay, they know what is good and what is bad. And this is not only now, that I want to impress a customer, a guest. It is also about my own safety. So I think everybody is getting into that mode, and it is becoming a part of your lifestyle now. What I feel also now, there will be a trend where people will move towards disposable, high quality disposable crockery, cutlery, and glass. Absolutely. Because who is wiping my crockery, in the back area? I don't know how it is coming and how many people are actually transporting it. It's also about if I feel something which is disposable, I know it's fresh. There's a much more thing.
So luxury dinners gone?
Ma'am, not because
Any country or
Deepak cannot officially say that sitting in Ritz Carlton.
The luxury will always luxury is a luxury. Right now, if I'll say certainly you will find you don't have to wear glove, mask, and you have to fly freely, it's a luxury for you. So there is an opportunity everywhere where you can push luxury to every element. But a lot of things are going to change, and Mr. Chawla has already said. Yes, please.
Yeah. Sir, to answer your point, I think, see, with regards to bartending particularly, it has evolved over the period of time. No doubts, it's, as you mentioned, it is absolutely right, and I agree to you. But if you remember back in the days, people would just wash the glass then and there itself, as and when it comes. Then came a time when, the glasses started going in the back areas and getting washed in the dishwasher. And then they were brought in, because of which the breakage increased. Then eventually now when we do the consultings, like of lately the models that I've done, or the restaurants or the bars that I've done, people have started putting up small glass washers in the bar itself, right under the bar. So it has eventually started happening. Also, if you see, when you compare to Singapore and other places, bartending has been a career. Here it has just been a stepping stone to become a supervisor, or a fancier version or a fancier overtake to become a supervisor and a manager. Now, of course, bartending is becoming a serious profession, and people are seriously getting into it. And with all due respect, 5 stars have started finally paying for it. I still remember, back in the days, we used to fight to increase the salary of a bartender. So I think that's all going to come, and it was already there in the process. It's going to fast track a little bit now for sure.
My only contention was that the people like Colonel Pawan Bhatnagar, Deepak Rawat, and you should also involve intensive training for a couple of weeks for servers and bartenders and mixologists on sanitary, which was not there. That is my only contention. Now, coming back to the food thing, I think this question can be answered by Deepak and Ankur. That there is a lot of this feeling that eating non-vegetarian food is not good in this point of time, and people are turning vegetarian. A lot of people believe that eating chicken or mutton can invite trouble for you. Some kind of virus will step it. How the hotels are dealing with it? Would there be a non-vegetarian dishes in your menu, or you will cut it down? What is the feeling when you devise your menu in the post-COVID-19 situation? Deepak?
No, there are definitely going to be non-vegetarian items in your menu, but then somehow there will be will not get rid of everything. But like items like ceviche, something like cold items like carpaccios, those definitely. But again, it also depends on a consumer behavior. For some, it does not matter. I still know a lot of guests. They always they demand for these kind of items when we are delivering food to their home. Okay, in home delivery as well. People are still ordering sushis. It's a cold item, it's a non-vegetarian item. It's a seafood, which is not it is not something like you just pick it and you serve it. It's always frozen. But it depends totally on consumer behavior. So we are not going to get rid of all non-vegetarian items. But yes, it will definitely be part of your a la carte menu. But when it comes to buffet, definitely there will be a less cold items or non-vegetarian items on the buffet.
Ankur?
There are two aspects to it. One, as we just discussed, there's a lot of local, food that will be coming out now, and that will be brought in a more exotic or a more luxurious fashion. And there will be a lot of innovation that I can foresee right now as well. So right now, that freshness or local angle will come a lot, because of which the non-vegetarian might feel or might get a little less, because of which there's a lot of imported non-vegetarian dishes which will stop coming. So there are a lot of people who are okay, like in Ritz, Carlton, Marriott, Taj kind of, Leela kind of hotels. People are okay to have lamb chops, but they want lamb chops from New Zealand or Australia, and now they're not coming. So I think that importing angle will sort of come down. Second, of course, Deepak already mentioned about the processed and the fresh. So of lately the discussions that we have had, I think it's more about cooked food than being frozen or kept for some time. I think Chef Neeraj would like to add a couple of points here, but I think that those are the two angles. But all these guys, like the chicken board of lately, I heard the chicken board was actually doing some promotional activities to showcase that because of the proteins that you get from chicken, the immunity is much higher, when you eat chicken or compared to a vegetarian food. So importing of food is going to go down, because of which the non-vegetarian might get a big hit, and freshness. So all the process and everything, those two angles is what I see. But otherwise, I think people are open. Of course, the experimentations is going to go down, like, the raw meat, the sushis, the unis, unagis, and that's majorly because of the access to the right kind of material as well. Correct. I think Chef Tyagi might like to add a couple of points here.
Yeah. Your audio is not open.
I think right now we all are waiting for the government mandate to come. I'm 100% sure the procurement is going to be a big issue. How and what all we can import, I think that's going to be a big question mark. But yes, I think when you talk about the guest sentiment, people will be cautious. Eating like ceviche is an amazing dish, but and it's safe to eat. It's how we handle our raw seafood and all. But again, I think people will not, for some time at least, people will not order all this kind of stuff. People will love to eat more vegetarian and healthy stuff. Seasonal produce again. So I think, and this is what we are working on, smaller menus which we can keep rotating and changing after few months, depending on the availability. And I think this is what the customer is also looking at. Whenever they come, they'll see a new dish on the menu. There are a lot of what we introduce. What are we going to introduce today's especially? So we're going to have a lot of these blackboards, and we'll tell them. And the idea of doing this is that what is available, freshest ingredient available in the market, and we're getting there, and we're making something out of that. So I think that's also again going to be good practice. But again, I think people will. I think people might get a little reluctant to eat a raw meat or seafood. But again, as it's a part of our culture, I think after some time it is going to be there in the menu, because this is it's very safe to eat sushi. But again, how you handle it. Home delivery, there's a big no from my end, because you can't sell sushi and ceviches in home deliveries because the temperature issue is there, and then so that's going to be there. But in restaurant, yes, I think they're going to be a part of. They were always a part of our menus, and they're going to be a part of our menus. But it's all depend, how are we allowed to import dishes, imported stuff or not. This also going to depend on that.
Thank you, Neeraj and all. My question is, as we are talking about the revival of consumers' confidence, so when do you think the time will come then people will start coming to the outlets? Approximately.
See, I think everybody is dying to go out. People have been locked down for like good 2.5 months already. People will love to go out to restaurant. And then I'm sure they're going to be trust. The moment will open, the people will definitely come to restaurants. People will. Right, we have started this party menus, and then what we're doing, you can just set menus for 4 or 6 people, and then we're getting a great response. So people are waiting and this lockdown to get over, and then I'm sure we'll start getting our customer back. But again, as Sir also mentioned earlier, that we have to build that confidence first. I think this is what every brand, every hotel is doing, with social distancing, contactless, digital menus, right from the entry, no valets, you have to park your car on there. So there are a lot of changes which is happening, and I think which is the need of the hour is, like people will not, at least for some time, people will not want to see them and then go sitting next to them. So all those things are going to be there. But yes, I think the moment the restaurant will open, which I think will go take some time, at least a couple of months. After that, I think everything will be back to the normal. Like I've been hearing the friends who are there in Hong Kong. And I think the restaurants are buzzing, and Shanghai is also open their bars recently. So I think culture, so I mean, people restaurant will flourish again. So I mean that won't be a problem.
Deepak, I was speaking to a friend of mine who was in New York. He said there's a restaurant in Queens part of the New York, an Indian restaurant called Divan Sahib, where the dining was 70-80% before the COVID-19 hits it. Now, as people started going out, the takeaways, or the Americans call it go-in, is now 90%. So they have to change the entire, module of their cooking and the food they serve. So do you think this is also going to be some kind of change in people's behavior in terms of dining in? There will be more takeaways from your and restaurants?
So there will be a change in behavior. Like for example, now hotels, every hotel is doing home deliveries, and every hotel is now they have tied up with Zomato and Swiggy. So now if we talk about business, because it's all about earning money, so it's going to be there, and people will definitely now when they see 5-star hotels and best of the best restaurants on Swiggy, they're ordering it. Okay, and now this is also becoming a part of their lifestyle. However, coming out of their houses, homes, and dining in the restaurants will definitely going to be there. Initially, the number of people which I feel there will be less. But then, it's going to be the word of mouth. Like, for example, if I go today somewhere, I feel that people over there, they are following all the standards and implementing, all the standards in terms of keeping COVID-19 in mind. So I definitely am going to go out and speak. So that's how gradually people will start coming in. And, if I talk about domestic tourism, is going to definitely go ahead.
So for following all these things, will new technologies will be coming in practice?
Ma'am, see, QR codes is going to be the in thing now. You will see people will move out of the physical menus. Okay, so it's going to be QR code where it's going to be a lot of technology. People have already started using UPI. So if you see the surveys, India is now becoming digitalized. So the printing market is going to get a hit because there is a different, there is a difference in behavior. If we talk about, as Chef Neeraj mentioned about seasonal products, so after every 2-3 months you find a new vegetable coming. So it is for us is going to be an opportunity where we can change our menus rather than thinking about the printing cost. Okay. And once a consumer is ready to, it's just about scanning your QR code. That's it, and everything is on your phone. You can read your menu now. You can order from your mobile phone. Sitting in the restaurant, you can get your bills also on your phone only. So everything it can be done over there.
So Ankur, are we heading towards Atmanirbhar Bharat, as Deepak said? More of the local food, more the variety we get seasonal from here, and you also said more processed food we bring it from abroad will be out and passe. So is it? We are following what Modi Prime Minister has said. India should be self-reliant, Atmanirbhar now. That should be in the food business as well.
I would not really go very political, sir. Otherwise, I'll speak a couple of words which I should not be speaking in an open forum. But I think, I mean, they haven't left us a choice. With all due respect, in the F&B space, I'm not at all happy with the kind of, support that the entire F&B has seen from the government. But so that's what I'm saying. So I think it's not a choice. It's not luxury. It's I think necessity, which we would be converting into an opportunity, and we all have to do it. There is no other way out. And I think it was, again, as I said, it was started a few years back, and I could see some of the biggest chefs going local and using local produce and still making as exotic drinks or as exotic food menus. But I think that's the way to go, and it's a big opportunity on the hindsight. It's a big opportunity that I really see, because India is full of a lot of ingredients. India is so diverse. India has so many ingredients in itself to play around with. No doubts, you love to go out, you like to try Japanese, Italian, and all those things. But I think in India there is still a lot more that needs to be explored. So Atmanirbhar is the way to go for sure.
So, Ankur, we have talked much about the hotel industry, but right now you are into catering business.
Yes.
So, do you have something to say about it? How bad it is in these times?
There is no doubt it is really the bad time. See, nobody is doubting the future. I mean, the future, we all are eternally optimistic, as we always say. The problem is reaching the future, reaching the time, or surviving till the time that future arrives. Like I am still getting queries for November, December, Jan, Feb, the weddings and stuff like that. Of course, it's very open-ended right now. I don't know, it's going to close very soon. But reaching till October, November, December is something that I think a lot of, not only me, and with all due respect, I've been in touch with a lot of restaurateurs, a lot of catering companies. It's difficult, and when I say I say it with a lot of confidence and a lot of sad sort of emotions, that a lot of us might not even survive. A lot of businesses would not survive, and they would not see that near future. Because surviving for those 4 to 6 months without a single penny entering, with a decent amount of fixed cost, it is not everyone's cup of tea. So it is definitely a very serious times. I know we all come out, we all try to be as optimistic and stuff, but the businesses are going down. I mean, that's the reality, whatever said and done. And that's not here. That's pan-India or globally for that matter. So it is a very difficult time. And then, as I said, when with a lot of these tough times, you obviously come out with a lot of inventions, a lot of new aspects, and a lot of opportunities. So I think everybody is trying to do that. I would never imagine a 5-star hotel delivering food to your house at almost a similar price, as 6 months ago I was getting from a decent restaurant. So creating those experiences at the house is another. And I can assure you, no 5-star hotel is going to earn money out of it. It is more about being alive in the market. It's more about the branding,
and staying relevant.
Yeah, or staying relevant for that matter.
Yeah.
So everybody is coming out, like even the catering companies nowadays. Like as I said, we have sort of devised a few more alternates as well to survive. We have kind of so we have a huge kitchen. We have about 3,500 square feet kitchen, for a catering unit. So we have started, sort of getting a few brand queries wherein the brand wants to take a small section of the kitchen and collaborate and take out their food from our kitchen itself, and everybody can come over there and synergize. So like a co-working space for a kitchen. So those kind of things will definitely start coming in, and I see in the future a lot of collaborations and partnerships happening. Otherwise, individually, you will all fall down. So for small business owners, I really see that collaborations and things like that, or new innovations can actually let us survive. Otherwise, it'll be difficult. But difficult times, no doubts about it.
I think going by the situation that is going on in the country, next few months are going to be for the takeaways and the home deliveries. There is no way, the way the graph is increasing here, and there's no point comparing us with the other countries because their situations are different. If the restaurants is open, the restaurants are booming because their thing has got under control. But for us, it is still not under control. So therefore, next few months are going to be a very trying time for the hotel industry to kind of survive.
Absolutely.
So
even the home deliveries, just to add a point over here, I was just studying the home deliveries market about a week ago. Overall, if you see, the home delivery business has also gone down drastically. But since we do not see anything else and we see only home deliveries happening, we feel that home deliveries is the only way, and they're doing good. But today, if you're ready to start a new business in home deliveries, you are not making money.
So thank you all for this lovely discussion. But one thing which comes out of this discussion is that everyone is positive about the future, that things are going to be good for everyone. So that's the best part of it, and let's hope for the best for the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And it was
Thank
good to
you.
see everyone after a long time. Chef Neeraj, Deepak,